Morning, peepods. Welcome to the Court of the EDI Jester. Buy me a coffee. Yep, subscribe to my Substack. Buy me a super thanks. Anything you can do to help will be gratefully appreciated at this point. Blah, blah, blah. Warrior teacher, blah. Now, what we've got for you today. There is a Twitter denizen who I'd like to introduce you to, if you're not already aware of them, called Mum versus Gender Ideology. Right? At Mrs. ROGD Mum. Go and follow at Mrs. ROGD Mum because she's doing interesting work. And I thought it would make sense to introduce you to a piece of interesting work that she's done in the last few days because that's, why we follow people, because they do interesting work or they bring something new to the argument or we can help them with something that we know. So it's all part of this collaborative network of people that are bringing an end to not just gender identity, ideology and queer theory, but hopefully the entire critical social justice cult. So what Mum versus Gender Ideology has done is she's taken a very close look at a particular school. And there's a thread she's done, which is in the Dubris. So if you want to have a look and read the rest of it, please do. And do follow Mrs. ROGD Mum, okay? And it's day 12, Exploring Ideology in St Mary's in Cambridge, which is a school called at St Mary's School. Their Twitter handle has a rainbow flag by it. Continuing our Pride Month journey, let's uncover the influence of gender ideology in St Mary's School, located in Cambridge. This is part of a series that this particular Twitter denizen is doing to celebrate what is, the nauseating Pride Month now. Pride Month. St Mary's School, Cambridge. St Mary's School, located in Cambridge, England, is a prestigious private Christian institution that follows the Catholic tradition. The school provides both day and boarding options and caters to girls from the ages of 3 to 18. Mrs. Charlotte Avery, a Cambridge-educated leader, has been headmistress of St Mary's School since 2007. She also served as president of the Girls' Schools Association and held senior positions at other prestigious institutions, such as Southampton High School in northwest London. So this isn't the cheap stuff, this is the good stuff. I shouldn't say that really, should I? It's not the good stuff necessarily. Certainly not from this thread. But what we're talking about here is highly privileged people, generally. Okay. In 2022, the school celebrated LGBTQ History Month. By spotlighting their history and achievements, activities included discussions, get this, in the Inclusivity Club. Just want to vomit, don't you? And an art exhibition featuring inclusive icons. And they don't mean, icons as people, do they? Do they actually mean icons, or do they mean icons as people? Who knows? They're all mad. This initiative aimed to promote understanding, empathy and inclusion. And it says here, from St Mary's themselves, St Mary celebrates LGBTQ+ History Month. The LGBTQ+ History Month, we are taking the opportunity to raise awareness, really, as if anybody's not aware, to raise awareness of past persecutions and celebrate the achievement of members of the LGBTQ+ community across our curriculum and extracurricular activities. And that's very important. Across our curriculum. You've got to remember, this is now by this time metastasized into organisations, so it will be in every activity. It's okay, we've got to deal with PSHE, as I know some people are. And you are. Keep going. What we have to do is also recognise that this will be in geography, it'll be in history, it'll be in biology, that template goes across everything, that vile template, so be aware of that. From a discussion of LGBTQ+ issues in Inclusivity Club to an Inclusive Icons art exhibition, we will be putting this historically marginalised group at the centre of our learning to promote understanding, empathy and inclusion. We will put the cult at the centre of our learning. That's what they're saying. Okay, bear that in mind. We will put the cult at the centre of our learning. In history, year 9, here's an example of what I'm saying about metastasization. Is that a thing? Metastasizing nature, perhaps, of the critical social justice cult. In history, year 9 students studied the Glamour Boys, a group of gay and bisexual MPs who opposed Hitler, but were overlooked by history. And the year 10 lessons will explore the persecution of LGBTQ+ individuals in Nazi Germany. Jesus Christ. They're rewriting history in history lessons. While the school status as a Stonewall champion is unclear, says Mum versus Gender Ideology, their relationship education and relationships and sex education policy aligns with the guidance from Stonewall, which came in 2019. This Stonewall guidance from 2019, I mean, we're well past that, folks. You really need to keep up. Disregards biological and scientific facts and instead promotes the idea to children that their inner feelings are more important than the biological sex, allowing them to choose their gender as a personal decision. I don't know what people pay to send their children to this school every year. I'm sure it's quite a lot of money. But I'd have questions about teaching unreality to children. The guidance asserts that every individual has an inherent internal gender identity which doesn't exist. That determines their classification as either male or female. It's anti-science. It further suggests that biological sex is a mere assignment at birth and can be altered at one's discretion. Yeah, cut yourself up, kids. It's great. The guidance is endorsement of an ideology and perpetuation of sex stereotypes, along with its support for compelled speech and imposition of beliefs, pose significant concerns in an educational setting by limiting freedom of expression and hindering independent thinking. The cult won't have you or your children thinking independently. And they will go as far as it takes to make sure that happens. This is a clear and present danger to our society. It's a prevent issue. The school aims to provide unbiased and factual curriculum content, fostering an open questioning among students. However, the lack of scientific evidence supporting Stonewall's claim raises doubts about the school's adherence to its own guidance. They will lie to themselves and to you. It's that simple. In a rather unexpected move, parents were recently invited to a workshop by the school featuring none other than Claire Harvey from the School's Inclusion Alliance. It seemed to be an enlightening session intended to educate those pesky parents on gender identity. I assume the workshop was the advertised LGBT webinar with a strong emphasis on gender identity and limited coverage of the LGBT aspects. Fortunately, we obtained a recording and slides for further examination. So, including in Mum versus Gender Ideology, it's all there, folks, right? So I urge you to go and have a look, because what we're seeing here is a very good analysis, an interesting analysis of what happens to an organisation that is completely captured by this, but in particular what happens to a school when it succumbs to ideological belief systems and then brings in more ideological belief systems in order to confuse and make your children have a wretched destiny and ruin their future. So they'll start off by talking about PSHE, which they've done, and it's all mentioned here. And before you know it, they're into the realms of unconscious bias and critical race theory. It's got the whole kit and caboodle in there. Go and have a look. It's a brilliant thread. My thanks to Mum versus Gender Ideology. And it's well worth you having a read to see exactly the type of analysis that can be done, particularly well here done by Mum, that can expose the utter depravity of these people who want to tell children that they're unconsciously biased. The entire world is about power and oppression, that we are systematically oppressed constantly every day. There's racism in every single conversation we have. You can be a boy or a girl just because your bloody mind thinks it wants to be. And at the end of it, even if you don't agree with all that, it's because you're unconsciously biased and beyond saving. This is a flesh-sacrificing, freedom-taking, anti-free speech cult. It's that simple. Go well, folks. Have a read. Well worth looking at. I'll see you soon.